Hey, I'm Rob Thomas, front of house engineer for Apocalyptica for this year's Cell Zero tour, and had aspirations to make shit loud. Just kidding. Throughout my career, I've done front of house for many touring acts, Third Eye Blind, Sia, Weezer, and Train. Been in the industry for about 30 plus years now as front of house, monitor engineer, production manager, tour manager. The excitement of coming up as a young engineer and getting to mix on your first 8-bus or first console with VCAs. And you always looked whether I was coming up in a club around town or mixing the opening acts, looking over and someone had brought in, a tour had brought in, a Midas console, and you're like, I can't wait to be able to mix on that. And that's how you know you made it in the industry, when you finally got to mix on your first Midas console. To all aspiring up-and-coming sound engineers, work hard, don't forget to listen. That's the most important thing, is listening. I think we get overwhelmed with some of the visuals, some of the mechanics of actually mixing, that we forget to actually stop and have a listen. I believe your reference is very important. Knowing what your reference is or what you're referencing to is a critical part of obtaining the goal of getting the sound that you're looking for correct. We forget to do that sometimes when we become overwhelmed with some of the cool new toys that are out there, and we just forget to stop and have a listen, you know? I've been mixing Apocalyptica for about 9 to 10 years. And we've pretty much, the band here in the States and as well as in Europe, have been on Midas desks primarily. We have about 40-some inputs from stage, nothing very crazy. We're just utilizing a lot of drum inputs, and the cellos occupy about 16 channels, using some Piazzo's pickups to DPA mics throughout the show. A lot of the challenge with cellos is that they are a very delicate, very dynamic instrument. It's not an easy process to mic up some cellos, make them loud and distorted and have all kinds of effects, and turn a classical style instrument into more of a more modern metal type instrument. But the HD96s handle that very well. Sonically, cellos have a very large bandwidth, and that you can be getting some of the nicest high frequencies down to 30-some hertz, and containing that is a challenge, and dropping those into the mix. I think the console does a great job of giving me tools that help me contain that with time-based effects, dynamic effects, multi-bands, and dynamic equalization that really helps with the glue of keeping those cellos balanced and in check. The Midas HD96 has brought an image, and not an image just a physical image, but an image in the mix, from left to right and forwards to backwards. I think that the HD96 in the stereo field has given me more places to broaden and make my mix deeper, wider than it's ever had before. It was a little bit of a wait and a lot of anticipation, and then when I first got my hands on that console, I was like a kid. I've always enjoyed mixing on Midas consoles, and I think that they named the console properly because I think there's some heritage in that console. Despite it being digital or outside the analog world, I found a little heritage into it that kind of gave me a little smile and brought me back to the first days of mixing on my first Midas Heritage Series console.